Happy New Year! It's 2019, so happy. Like 2018 can go and so first of all, let's not comment on my hair. I'm basically trying to save money, so I cut it here myself. It does not look great. I'm sorry. And I'm sorry, Charlie, because I ruined the hair you gave me. So in terms of how I want to go through this, I'm going to go through this in a few different sections. The first one will be me talking about the worst thing that happened to me in 2018. Or kind of the three worst things that happened to me in 2018. I'll also be talking about work because, as a lot of you know, I changed jobs last year and that affected me quite severely, really, I guess. In a good way, probably. The third thing I'll talk about is like relationships and dating and sex, I guess. So that'll be a thing I talk about. After that, I want to talk about sort of positivity, what I'm going into 2019 expecting, what I'm hoping for, and generally why I'm back here doing my vlog. So I guess let's get into the worst part of it and then get better as we go on. Okay, so I want to say first of all that anyone who has been affected by any sort of abuse, whether it be in a relationship or otherwise, or any sexual abuse, you may want to skip past this. I'll put like the time when it ends here, so you know what time to skip to, because this is going to be quite heavy, I guess. The worst thing that happened to me in 2018 was I got raped, and it's something I have spoken about before. If you check the link in the description, I did a sort of spoken word thing where I sort of expressed how it felt, how it made me sort of feel alone and isolated, and how it sort of took over my life, and it really did. I've never really explained what happened to me, and I don't feel like I need to go into too much detail today, as it's not really that important, but I do want to talk about how it affected me, because I've not really done it in any sort of blunt ways. It made me hollow, and it completely destroyed my ability to form relationships with people, whether that be friendships, sexual relationships that are sort of casual, or relationships that are actually on a more sophisticated sort of adult level, where you're actually looking at potentially becoming someone's partner, and it completely destroyed my ability to have those relationships. It's really hard to explain how it's done that to me, other than it just makes me feel hollow. It makes me feel like everything has been ripped out of me, and that it was sort of thrown away or scattered around, and I had to sort of try and rebuild myself, but it's always felt like there's sort of a part missing from me. I'm actually in a really lucky position now where one of my best friends is actually helping me deal with this. I basically said to them that I was not able to cope with this and I needed to speak to someone about it. They've let me talk about it in as much detail as I've wanted to and never pressured me to say any more or any less about it. But at the same time, they've always been there and just said, you know what, this is okay, and I don't view it any different. And it's been amazing for me to be able to do that. I feel very lucky to be in the position that I'm in, having someone who is so amazing for me to talk to. And if this person ever sees this, which I imagine they probably will, then I want you to know that you're an amazing person, and I probably wouldn't be here without you, if I'm like really honest. Let's go off that really sort of heavy topic and go on to work, which is gonna also start quite depressingly. But work does end well in the end, so this is a good one actually. At the start of the year, I worked somewhere where I was not particularly happy. I'd been very unhappy there for a long time, and it was just not somewhere I was happy. Wow, really good English. Okay, let's say that a bit better. I was uncomfortable there, I felt out of place there, and I actually felt trans there. I didn't feel like one of the girls who felt trans. It was horrible. And I kept doing more and more stuff there and never really got anything out of doing more stuff. Ultimately, me being raped forced me to reevaluate what was worth things in life, and me being that miserable in a job was just not worth it at all. So I quit with immediate effect. And you know what, I got a phone call from my manager saying, are you sure you want to do this? Do you really want to quit with immediate effect? And I said, you know what, I don't want to come back. I know this is the right decision for me. I know I need to spend some time exploring myself and finding somewhere where I can actually thrive. So for 2 months, I did not have a job. in June I had an interview and I was successful and I got the job where I am today, which we'll go on to in a moment. Prior to that though, in July, because basically although I got that job in June, I didn't start till literally the last day of July. I got offered an opportunity with a YouTuber who I'd known at that point for almost a year, and I'd helped sort of run that online community, I guess. I don't know if that's a very good description, but I was really heavily involved with them anyway, and they offered me the opportunity to start editing for them. I have watched back the first video I ever did for them and it was terrible in comparison to what I do now, but it's been an amazing opportunity for me. It's something that potentially I could do full time in the future, and it's something I can also do alongside sort of the current role I do, which is amazing. So that's been a really positive experience for me. So in terms of my main job, I have got a new job now. I never really disclose what I do. It's not something I want to talk about. I'm very happy where I am now. The department I work in and the company I work for are very supportive of me as a trans woman, but at the same time I have never once been made to feel like I am a trans woman. I've been made to feel like one of the girls, and that is how everyone views me, and it is amazing. And it's been really kind of hard for me to kind of realise that that's how people view me and they don't have that label associated with me in the same way. So yeah, that's been odd. Let's move on to relationships then. So this is actually a really weird bit for me. I started the year in a relationship of sorts. Essentially in sort of September I had started casually seeing a guy who lived at his dad's around the corner from me, who had split up with their girlfriend about the same time I'd split up with my partner. You know, it was casual. After a couple of months, I guess we sort of became a thing. In about November, I helped them move into their flat. I was staying there a lot. I started leaving some clothes there because I was there enough times. I was giving them lifts to work in the morning and then I was going to work. It was nice actually. It felt like a relationship. And then I kind of mentioned in December, actually I think it was the 23rd, because I think I went down to my parents on Christmas Eve after work. I basically told them that I was falling in love with them. That was a smart move, wasn't it? I saw them on Boxing Day. We had pizza, we cuddled up and watched a film, and it felt like things were fine. Roll into 2018, New Year's Eve, I ring them literally as 2018 begins and tell them I love them. Did not speak to me for 3 days and told me I'm not sure if this is what I want. About 2 months later, after basically him getting back with me and then dumping me, which should have been a sign enough for me, I feel like we got to a point where things were actually quite nice. We were going to this really lovely pub out in the middle of nowhere all the time, really, I guess from about March onwards, and it was really nice. It felt like I had a boyfriend for the first time as a trans woman. No, as a woman, it felt like I'd had my first sort of boyfriend. Looking back at it now, it was probably actually an incredibly emotionally and mentally abusive relationship because of how he used to treat me. But we won't go into that. Roll around what we spoke about at the start of this video, that happened. I suffered sort of from that, and it led to us sort of ending things. So I guess like all three of those things, although they sound really negative, so being raped, quitting my job and ending my relationship, all three of those things have actually resulted in really positive things. The relationship one's a bit more complicated. In terms of what's happened since then, I've explored myself a lot more. For those who maybe have noticed now that I would never wear a top like this previously, I feel a lot more comfortable doing this now, particularly because I do actually have, you know, some cleavage now. Since I started testosterone blockers, my body has been reacting a lot better, and so things have developed more, which has made me feel a lot more comfortable as a woman as well. Sex is still really complicated for me, partly because of the whole rape thing and partly because I feel really uncomfortable with my body still. Since I split up with my ex, there have been There's only really been one person that I've been with, and it was probably the most amazing experience in my life because it was the first time I felt complete in terms of who I am as a person and how they viewed me, I think. And I think how I viewed myself as well. I think for so long, whenever I've been in any sort of intimacy, it's always been I viewed myself as sort of a trans woman. I've never viewed myself as just someone's partner or girlfriend, or even when I've been having sex, I've not viewed myself as a girl getting with a guy or a girl getting with another girl. It's always been, you are a girl who is trans getting with a guy, rather than just a girl getting with a guy. It's really hard to explain, but that's basically where I've been in my head. And this is the first time I've been with someone I was like, I'm just a girl. Yeah, they know I'm trans, but I'm just a girl. So I wanted to talk about sort of positivity now. I've sort of talked about medication and stuff, I guess. Maybe I forgot. I sort of talked about T blockers, but I want to talk about general positivity, and I guess I'll talk about medication at the same time. Things are a lot better for me now. I had kind of got myself into a bit of a funk, and I wasn't really sure of how to get out of it. And I'm at a point now where I feel like the future is a lot brighter, particularly because I can put the last year sort of out of the way, and I'm just like dragging myself towards the new year. The next year looks really positive for me. I mean, the first thing I guess is I've got surgery. I've got my surgical reviews next month. First one next month, one after that as well. For the first one, my friend is coming with me, which is really good because I will be a mess, so they are driving me there and back. Hopefully they'll stay with me sort of a bit afterwards as well, because I'm not going to be in a position where I feel okay afterwards, I guess, because I know that I wasn't the last time I had to speak about surgery, because although it's what I want, it is a lot to take on. So yeah, a bit scared, but it'll be really good and worth it, and I'm glad I've got my sort of one of my best friends going with me. Really? I do have to lose a bit of weight for surgery, and I think I need to lose that for my surgical review. The way I'm going to do this is hopefully just by eating a lot better and going to the gym more. So I've been going to the gym, just not very often. I will be not buying crap when I'm at work. It's so easy for me to feel like something didn't go particularly well, and I would go buy a chocolate bar, or I'd be up until like 11 o'clock the night before doing my other job, so then I would just go out on my lunch break and buy a Subway or buy some fried chicken or something, and it's not a healthy way to sort of sustain yourself. And I know this, but I've been really lazy for it, so I'm not going to do that anymore. I'll be doing like chicken and couscous or chicken and tuna. No, tuna and couscous, not chicken and tuna. That would be gross. Either way, going to be eating a lot healthier. I've got 37, 38. I've got some days to lose weight before my first surgical review, and I'll make it happen. As a whole, I'm just really looking forward to 2019. Like, this is the year where I'm really going to shine, where I'm going to find myself, find who I am, and not let other people define me, because I think a recurring theme of 2018 was that other people, whether it was my manager, whether it was my ops manager, whether it was my colleagues, the person who did what they did to me, relationships, my housemate, my ex, all of that, I let other people define who I was, and it's time for me to define who I am to the world. And I think that's what I'm going to be doing this year. Welcome to 2019. I'm back, bitches. See you later. I'm still as ladylike as ever.